Hey everyone. So so we got back. We have to go on the bus. I don't drive. I have seizures associated with my autism. So we went on the bus. It wasn't that bad. We took one bus, and it dropped us off near the location of the SSI evaluation place. So they evaluated Izzy, and it went well. They said that we're going to be getting I'm sorry, I'm ripping the tape off of the chair. I don't know why. Now I can't stop doing it. So they are going to give her funding. She's being approved. So remember what I said, you guys. Your child doesn't need to be 3 years old to get SSI. My daughter's 2 years old, and she's a client of Regional Center. And they do the evaluation there also. And if they're already a client of Regional and they receive all types of therapy already, like Izzy receives OT, occupational, she was receiving ABA until I stopped it and switched it for infant education. So yeah, if you have the proof to back it up, like saying that they're a client of Regional Center, that's why I say it's important to get your child into the early start, make them a client of Regional Center really early as possible, and get them the intervention, to where they can start doing therapies in your child. And for the record, when I say get them into ABA as soon as possible, get them into Regional Center as early as possible and get them the intervention therapies that they need. I just want to make it clear, like for the record, I am not talking about ABA. No. That, depending on the ABA therapist, because most of them are shit. Sorry. ABA therapists, you guys suck. Sorry. There are very few that might be like, okay, good, and then the reward system might work, for some kids in the spectrum that are a little bit older, I'm always wondering, why is it that it works sometimes on older kids with autism a little better? I think it's the older kids, they don't really put their hands on them as much. That's probably why. When you see someone as an adult, or if they're big enough, almost as big as you, you're not going to start physically hand-in-hand prompting them, and especially if you don't know them. I think that might be what it is. Probably why it works more, because they get more of the reward factor of it than the reward-based therapy than the actual negative stimulation of touch stimulation. I don't know. Anyways, for the record, I kind of went off right now, sorry, but yeah, for the record, I'm not talking about ABA. I do not like ABA. Get your child into Regional Center as early as possible. Get them started with the infant education, not ABA. You can choose that instead. You have an option. You got options. And you should go with infant education. Later on, if the child, is needing more, help, once they've already been to, kindergarten, first grade, if that is not working, if the regular school setting is not helping the child get into, into gear of, following instructions and stuff, and then maybe ABA. Maybe. But still, the parents should watch very closely because they're not very educated. They're trained, but they're not, educated. So, I'm just saying. So as soon as they start getting the occupational therapy, I say that occupational therapy is really, really important. And speech therapy is very, very important, of course. And get the infant education to get them going. The first place where I was at school. So and when I realized that I wasn't stupid, that my autism didn't mean that I was dumb. I was just different and quirky, weird, whatever, eccentric, whatever word you want to go with. But I was not stupid. It made me feel capable, and when I went in a crowd after feeling this type of confidence, I felt more sure of myself, and I didn't need to hide in the shadows. Usually I'm just awkward and bold and brave now. So I'd rather be like that. So get your child, the early infant education. I think it really works really well. And then also, as soon as they get accepted as a client of regional, start putting in the application form. So easy. You just call the Social Security office, tell them that your child is a client of regional and that they maybe have autism, that they're, you know, that your child has autism, and they will set you up an appointment. They'll call. They'll do an over the phone like few questions. Then they don't even ask you to bring anything. They'll just ask you like what's the regional center location, case manager's name, and the number so they can contact. They go and pull all those files themselves. You don't have to do any work. So like, why not just get the ball rolling? Call your local Social Security office. Tell them you want to apply for SSI for your child, and get it started. Honestly, that's the best thing to do. Because like, look at my daughter's just 2. You know, I think it's like 6-7 months from now she'll be 3. So like that's 7 months of income. You know, that 7 months where I can be with my daughter and help her through her therapies instead of like leaving her with random strangers and like daycares or not understanding her over like sensory stimulation issues. Yeah, that can make their autism worse. Leaving your autistic child with somebody that doesn't understand autism. Oh yeah, it can make their autism a whole hell of a lot worse. So, you know? So I always say, like, you better just like, you know, I'd rather get on a major budget and be there for my kid to make sure that she's not, you know, and then educate myself on autism, if I were you guys, as much as you can. Because you're going to lose more money in the long run. You're going to lose way more money in the long run. Because you're going to leave your kid with these, you know, daycare people thinking that you're doing the right thing, because you have to provide for your kid, right? You got to pay for their food, their, you know, their therapy toys and all this stuff that you think you have to get for them, right? It's expensive. It adds up. So I can only imagine a parent like not knowing, like thinking they're doing the right thing by believing the child with the daycare. I've walked into daycares and a daycare teacher was restraining my daughter, forcing her to go to sleep. Like, that's crazy. You can't do that to an autistic kid. My daughter went through like months of like aggression behavior because of that. I had my daughter at daycare and I saw the daycare teacher just throw a blanket over her head, threw the pillow on the floor and threw a blanket like for her to like cover herself. And she wasn't trying to be mean. She was trying to be playful. And she threw it and she's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. My daughter was like, ah, screaming, can't take the blanket off of her. Freaking the hell out of my daughter. My daughter doesn't even sleep with blankets like at nighttime with me any day of the week. My daughter's super terrified, and I wouldn't say terrified, but she gets overly stimulated with touch stimulation, so no blankets at all. So I'm just saying, like, these people will do the wrong thing, or they'll be around other kids that are commenting and talking about their autism in front of them and making them uncomfortable, making them feel like there's something wrong with them to where they don't want to participate, you know? It's really, I would say, you saving money in the long run by taking some time off of work and being there with your kid. You know, money and things you can always get rolling again. You know, you don't need a Starbucks coffee every day. You don't need the freaking latest iPhone. Get over yourself, please. Quit playing. It's too much when it comes to your children. You guys are going to want to make sure that they're okay, because you know what? Guess who's taking care of them later if they don't know how to take care of themselves, or they don't know how to manage their autism? You are. Old little lady, old little man with your walker. And you're going to be taking care of your child because you love them. And it doesn't matter how old your kid is, you're going to take care of them, right? But let's try to make it to where they can, you know, feel good about themselves, help themselves, you know, to where when they're pushing you in the wheelchair later, you know. I tell my son Ozzy all the time, I'm like, Ozzy, I'm gonna help you change your pull-ups right now, but you're pushing me in that wheelchair later, boy, don't play. And he starts laughing. He's like, oh yeah. He's so funny. Are you gonna take care of mama? And he smiles at me. He's like, comes and kisses my face. He's so cute. But now we got Ozzy pooping in the toilet, so that's what's up. We're on our way. I'll be getting rolled in a wheelchair in no time. Wait. That shouldn't be a good thing for me.